Our next speaker is Sudhir Daya, and like I've been saying to all of the speakers, I said, what would you like to say? What would you like me to say? How would you like me to introduce you? And Sudhir said, well, what I'd really like is a little bit of Karate Kid. I would like some interpretive dance, and I'd like some mime. So for Sudhir Daya, let's give it up. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Sudhir Daya, and thank you, Rob, for that lovely introduction. I'm founder of Integrated Health, and I'm a choice architect. By that I mean I empower people to design and construct the life that they want to live. Okay, there was a recent movie by Disney and Pixar called Inside Out, and I don't know if some of you saw it or maybe you have. Anyway, I saw it and I loved it, and for those of you who didn't see it, it's about a young girl. It's an animated movie, and she's moving to another city. And she has these 5 characters in her head: fear, joy, anger, love, and sadness and disgust. These 5 characters manage a control panel that governs her behaviors and her emotions. So I love this movie and how it took complex neuroscience and made it really accessible and engaging and showed us the workings of the mind and how emotions and behavior are linked. So why am I sharing this story with you today and about this movie? Because it really shows the conflict of emotions that happens in my head and I sometimes see in my clients. So for example, Nick Bolton, who asked me to speak at the summit, okay? When he called me, I was like, oh, fear and excitement rushed to take control of my control panel. So what was I scared of? The first thing that popped into my head is, what have I got to say? Now, for those of you who know me, it's harder to make me to shut up than to actually say anything. So what was really going on? So I dug a little deeper and I uncovered that lurking doubt. I am not ready. Oh, so clearly fear had taken over, disguised as doubt, had taken over my control panel. But what was I not ready for? So to give you context to the situation, I'm currently in the process of completing my International Coaching Federation accreditation, and Nick is my mentor in this process. I somehow felt that it would be inauthentic for me to stand up here and share my journey and experiences with you without that accreditation. That somehow, without that qualification, I was not good enough or I was incomplete. And as well, there's also other things going on in business and life. But what was I excited about? I was excited because I do a lot of visualizing, and this year I asked for a lot more public speaking, teaching, and lecturing opportunities. And year 1 was being presented right to me. But yet, despite being given something I asked for and wanted, there was that little fleeting impulse to say no, to run away and be small and continue what was I doing. It was like a real WTF moment. And this was happening, and this was happening in milliseconds up here. So why am I sharing this story with you? I'm sharing the story because it summarizes the 3 key messages that I try to apply in my life, and I hope that you might find useful in your journey. So the first key message, know thyself. In this instance, I've realized that through experience, my body gives me precious clues, guidance and signals. So if I need to eat, my body feels hungry. If I need to sleep, my body feels tired. So if I need to say yes, my body feels excitement. But then there's that mixture of fear and excitement. And I've learned that that's usually something I need to pay attention to, say yes to, because it probably pushes me out of my comfort zone. Be the creator. Make a choice and take action. In this example, I said yes to Nick's lovely invite for me to speak here. And by saying yes, I allowed that vision to manifest. so I could live the life I want. And so I pushed fear out of the control panel and let joy take over. Trust the universe. I believe that the universe is always working for me and with me. So normally at the end of each year, I have a little reflection on what's happened and think, where would I like to go to next? What would I like to do? And so I put down more public speaking, lecturing, chatting. And once again, here the universe was working for me and giving me the opportunity. And all I had to do was just trust and knew that the opportunities would come. So I'm a work in progress, and I really try to remember these 3 key things as I have my moments of self-doubt and uncertainty. The theme for today's summit is Becoming the Whole Coach, a lifelong journey. I thought that I would share my journey with you and use the 3 key messages of know thyself, be the creator, and trust the universe as a framework of how my business, Integrated Health, is a success. And through this journey or process, you will see how my worldviews express themselves in my actions and my choices and extend out into my business and life and are reflected back to me with success. Let's start with know thyself. In 2001, I was working in Cape Town, South Africa as a chartered physiotherapist. I went to the doctor for a routine examination and that revealed something anomalous, and further investigation led me to being diagnosed with a relatively serious autoimmune condition. This was unusual for someone of my age and changed my physical appearance and restricted me and prevented me from doing physical exercise. So now, for the first time in my adult healthcare professional life, I was the patient. The roles were reversed. And this shift in perspective was insightful as it allowed me to appreciate how every person's journey through a treatment process is unique. As a physio trained in the scientific paradigm, I got where my doctors were coming from. But as a patient and a person, I don't know if they maybe really got where I was coming from. I felt dissatisfied. I want to know what was going on and what had caused my condition. And I felt dissatisfied by the textbook answers of stress and idiopathic, which basically means we don't know what's going on. And I was also frustrated by my treatment options. Surely medication and surgery were not my only true treatment options. So this led me on a journey of exploring other systems of medicine, health, and well-being. I went to India to train to be a yoga teacher. Sounds like everybody did yoga today, speaking on the stage. So I'm like, I'm another yoga. So went to India, trained to become a yoga teacher. And I chose the course specifically because it covered all aspects of yoga. The breathing, the meditation, the philosophy, as well as just the physical postures. What blew my mind away on the course was the profound wisdom, beauty, and simplicity of ancient Eastern philosophy. It was in that time that I found all the answers to my deep existential questions. And this allowed me to reframe things on a fundamental level that led to a massive impact on my worldview. My life changed 180 degrees afterwards. I became vegetarian, I gave up alcohol for numerous years, I started to look after myself. And for the first time, I felt energized, focused, and felt a sense of purpose. I channeled that energy into exploring anything and everything that piqued my interest and curiosity. I read books, I attended courses and workshops and lectures, I completed postgraduate qualifications in Ayurveda, acupuncture, Chinese medicine, and so on. I was at a ravenous appetite for anything that would facilitate a greater understanding of me and the world that I lived in. What struck me most about all these systems was their holistic nature and their intimate interconnection between mind, body, and the environment in dis-ease. And as I started working on myself and getting to know myself, I saw the benefits and impact on my life, health, and well-being, and I thought, others could benefit from this. So the importance of knowing thyself, I think, was best summed up by Socrates when he said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." So through all this process of getting to know myself, I now had this expanded worldview. I had more tools in my toolbox to help people, and yet I felt boxed in by my title of physiotherapist, because it didn't really say what I did and how I worked with people. Was I physio? Was I an acupuncturist? Was I a life coach? Was I a Pilates yoga teacher? Was I an ergonomics consultant? And I realized that I was just reacting to all the predefined roles that I inherited from the outside world, and I chose to impose on myself. So I decided to break free of all those pre-established roles. I created my own job title, and I wanted to create something that was all-encompassing and reflected the work I do. So I created Choice Architect. I empower people to design and construct the lives they want to live. And through this process of creating, I went on to create the space I wanted to work in, the people I wanted to work with, the approach I was going to use. I even created my ideal weekly schedule. And all of these acts of creation led me to realize that if you choose to see first, you can change your reactivity. So I went on to create my company, Integrated Health, to bring it all together. So we at Integrated Health believe that you are a person, and as such, you are multi-layered and multifaceted. And so an approach would have to be multi-layered and multifaceted. Similar to climate change, if the problem is multi-layered and multifaceted, it makes sense to me then that the solution would have to be multi-layered and multifaceted. So we at Integrated Health bring it all together to help you achieve the goals you want to do and live the life you want. But my acts of creation and all the things I was doing were not done in isolation. Let me explain. With the power of hindsight, I realized that my disease was one of the greatest gifts that life gave me. It forced me to look deeply and honestly at myself and led me down a multi-layered and journey of getting to know myself that I'm really grateful for. At the time of my diagnosis, I would have not said that, because I did not really appreciate a belief in my worldview, that I'm connected to everything and that the universe is always working for me and with me, even though an initial glance in a particular situation, it might not seem so. So whenever fear, disguised as doubt, tries to take control of my internal panel, I have to remember to trust the universe. And repeatedly, life has shown me that trusting the universe always works out in my favor. For example, a couple of years ago, I was working in a private clinic in London as a physio, and I felt increasingly frustrated by my lack of autonomy and not being able to do the work I wanted to do with my clients. So I thought, right, I'm going away to South Africa on holiday in December, January. I'll take some time, reflect, and by next summer I'll make that change. I'm on holiday in South Africa and I get an email from the practice owner, basically in essence saying the relationship's terminated. I was like, this is unexpected, and it was like, threw me a bit. But then I quickly realized, wait a minute, here's an opportunity. This is something I was asking for, so I just embraced the opportunity. And I'm really glad to say that in May the following year, a colleague and I had found a space, set it up, refurbed it, 0 clients, 0 marketing, and since then, I can really say we haven't looked back and business is doing great. Another example that shows me how the universe is always working me is training here at Animas. So loads of people said I should be a life coach, and I was like, I thought it's like American pop psychology, that you're going to put a band-aid on and give you something, and then it's not really going to deal with the person's issue. And I remember coming to my discovery day with Catherine, who you all spoke to earlier, and had a chat to her. And I said, right, trust the universe, and I just signed up. And once again, the universe proved itself correct, and that was shown in my existential coaching day with Nick. because there I was shown that coaching could go to the depths that I wanted it to go and in the way I wanted to work with people. A wise client of mine gave me a saying, and I stick this on my computer screen just to remind me to always trust the universe. And it says, when you walk to the edge of all the light you have and take the first step into the darkness of the unknown, you must believe one or two things will happen. There will be something solid for you to stand upon, or you will be taught how to fly. So, what are my 3 key points to summarize? Know thyself, be the creator, and trust the universe. Know thyself. Invest the time and money in yourself. It'll be the best investment you make, better than property, better than your pension, and the returns will be as great as you imagine. I've done loads of courses and I never regret doing them and paying for them. I might have ummed and ahed about the price and cost beforehand, but I never regretted doing them. You know, it's a strange thing. We live in this paradox where I live with myself, but sometimes I can be a stranger to my own internal world. So I want you to consider, how much time do you spend getting to know yourself? And that will give you a very clear picture if you are a stranger to yourself, your best friend, or your worst enemy. Now, I know there's lots of talk about passion and being passionate. Don't stress if you're not passionate about anything. Okay? Start by being curious. Follow your curiosity, anything that piques your interest, and that will start the journey for you. And you will find your voice and you'll figure it out and what makes you tick. Be the creator. Make a decision, take action. Stop reacting to the world and living on autopilot. I was listening to a TED talk the other day by Mel Robbins, and she was saying, she was talking about why don't we have the lives we want? And she was saying, it's not because we don't have ideas. She said, we're all filled with amazing ideas. She said, it's because we don't take action. And she said, and so she's devised this 5-second rule. So she says, every time you feel that impulse that will move your life in the direction to the life you want to live, you need to, within 5 seconds, marry it with action. So, for example, today, you've heard some amazing things from fabulous people, okay? If someone said something that inspired you, write it down. If someone shared their contact details with you, send them an email. If someone, said something that really moved you, go talk to them, ask them a question, It's the starting that stops us. And finally, trust the universe. It's always working in your favor, even though on initial glance it may not seem so. So if you are struggling finding your clients, if you have a challenging client, or if you have a financial issue, just try and find that balance between creating and taking action and letting go to the outcome of the action and see what manifests. And I am constantly reminded of this kind of theme when I do my hobby, one of my hobbies, which is flying trapeze. So I stand on the platform and I choose to face my fear. I then do my best, okay, and trust that the catch is going to be there. I then let go, and then there's that ineffable moment of stillness, followed by exhilaration. Thank you.
Okay, let's spend some time just having a few questions for Sudhir. So we've got a question right at the front. Nathan's running down. Karen's running. Who's going to get there first? I think it's going to be Nathan.
I don't have a question. I'd just like to say how great it is to see a bloke on the stage.
Thank you. Boy power. We can do a Facebook. Take a photo.
I've been here all day. I'm really confused. question over here.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. We'll come back.
Hi, I'm Emma. That was a really good talk, thank you.
Pleasure.
So you're obviously really successful and you made me really inspired. But what I want to know is, what was it like when you were successful? So early on, what was it like when you had your first 2 paying clients? What was that really like?
So this is interesting because my work is really interesting, and I didn't talk about how I work because there's a real model of how I work with clients, but all my work is pretty mushed, okay, into one. So that's probably, it's going to indirectly answer your question, and then I'll get, so people ask me, Sudhir, how do you divide your time? Do you do pure coaching? Do you do physio? Do you do, and there's that whole niche thing, and do people really come in silos to us? For example, there's so many clients I can think of. I had a guy who came to me with low back pain, okay? Persistent long history. And there he reveals to me a 20-year substance abuse history, and now in the second session we're coaching. So he came to me with back pain, and then now we're doing something different, and it was organic and discussed, but it's kind of where it needed to go to figure out what was really driving the problem. So your question is, what was it like when I was unsuccessful? Okay, so I started the clinic in May, okay, and that May I got a call from my dad saying, look, got a crappy diagnosis, really terminal. So we're like, oh gosh, okay, that's not so great, And then so all my brothers around the world, we said, okay, right, we're gonna go home and spend quality time with dad. So in the first month of business, I left for a whole month with all the overheads and everything, 0 clients, 0 marketing, okay? And just trusted. Left the business, went, spent quality time with my dad, which I don't regret. And then, I don't know how, I came back and I had a really busy diary. Couple of things I kind of know how, like everybody else, the themes are consistent through everybody else talk today. I network with people, I partnership with people, and that's how I got referral. So in the first couple of months, it was all those mixed emotions, like, ooh, and then it just started getting busier and busier, and I have not sent one flyer, want anything out. It's just, right now I'm busy, I'm grateful to say, I've got a waiting list, so that's really nice. So, it was all those emotions, but it's that, like Kerry's diagram, with the three little birdies, the belief, the trust, and the tenacity. It's those 3 things again. Just trust. It will happen. I don't know, did that answer your question? Convoluted answer. I told you, it's hard to get me shut up.
Let's go here.
That was a lovely talk.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed it. So do you still just work with one other person in your practice, or have you added other people? And do you all offer different services within your practice, or are you all doing the same sort of thing?
Yeah, no, other people do their own thing. I offer my whole integrated approach, and when I need to partner or outsource to other people who are skilled, I just go boom, go there, go there, go there, go there. So I've got a colleague who's she's an osteopath, so when people need that type of thing, I send them to her. I've got a colleague who does the outsourcing. So wherever I feel like, this person will work better, just like Hero, just like all other people, just connecting with other people who will support your clients to get to where they want to go to. I've got a nutritionist, there's a whole lot of people, but I don't only do health. I don't want to make it sound too health coaching. We do a mixture of stuff as well, but outsource to other people who have strengths, draw on their strengths. So that, yeah.
Question just here.
Quick one. I did ask you this before you came on, Sudhir. What's with the plasters?
Okay, so when you grab the bar in flying trapeze, okay, you can rip some of your hands and you can rip some of the things and get blisters. So that's the answer to your question as well.
Awesome stuff. So let's give a round of applause for Sudhir.
Thank you. Thank you.